What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Got a guy on that I spent some time with at USP Lee, OG Ryder. He's got a hell of a story, been through some stuff, seen some things. He's definitely done some things, and I was in prison when he was the man that popped off. Actually, I think he's the one that got some things, going after some people were doing some things that they felt were disrespectful. But anyway, man, that was the Bloods versus the DC car. Let's get into your story, brother. Tell the people who you are and talk a little bit about you.
Peace, man. OG Ryder from Elizabeth, New Jersey. You already know, man. Shout out to my boy, man. That brought me on. Thanks for having
So
me.
let's talk a little bit about you and how you end up in federal prison, right? How old were you when you first get arrested, brother?
I did my state bid, 15, came home. I went to the feds when I was about 24, 25.
So you're 24 years old, 25 years old, and you're heading to the feds. How much time were you sentenced to?
7.5.
7.5 years in the federal penitentiary. What's your first prison, though?
They sent me right to a max, man. Hazleton, USP Hazleton, West Virginia.
You walk into USP Hazleton where they're getting busy over there, right?
Indeed. That's one of the most dangerous prisons in the population, man, on the East Coast, that is. They label it that, man. So they sent me there out the blue. I was the first one to get there.
What was it like to walk into that prison?
It's dangerous. You don't know what to expect. Make no mistakes about it. For all those that, let's make it clear, man, for people that be talking that tough Tony, you don't know what to expect. And when you don't know what to expect, that'll make anybody think, right? So with thinking, you're going to have your sense of nervousness. You're going to have your sense of unknown. But what you accept is you got here. You got yourself here, right? So you accept what come with it, man, ultimately.
So you get there. I mean, it's not a secret, right? I mean, you're a blood, and you walk in. I mean, are the homies receptive to you? How many bloods are there at the time?
It's what population is in Hazleton. I think 1,400, 1,300. Out of that, I want to say at least about 200, 240. They may be bloods that's on that compound active, right? So when I get there, of course, I got the tattoo on my neck, right? So ain't no hiding that, man. Off jump.
They press you right away, like, yo, where you from? And
yeah, when that's gonna come with the territory. Within 24 hours, man, they coming to the cell. They coming to see you. That's that. When you get to the cell, you're gonna have your regular day. What was crazy about my first day there, I didn't have the regular experience, right? I get there in the evening time. But what made it crazy is because I came there with a white boy. He had a tattoo on his neck. It was a green leaf clover. So that ain't accepted. Off top, ain't nothing but AB. You know what I'm saying? They don't even accept that. So I'm thinking nothing of it. Man, they told him, coming off the bus when we got in, they told him straight up, man, you get that off your neck or we're going to burn it off. Right there in the corridor, they told him that. So he took it lightly, like, nah, it's just, I'm Irish. Yeah, okay. Man, I'm in the morning time, fast forward, 24 hours later, man, I woke up in my cell brushing my teeth. They busting the door about 5:30, let us out. I see them come on, man. First child movement. About 12 ABs come on the unit, man. Approached him. They burnt his ass up. They came up in the cell, beat him up, lit him on fire, and burnt his ass up, man. I watched him burn all the way down, man, just because that tattoo was on his neck.
And that was, what year were you in Hazleton?
I got to Hazleton in 2008. I walked through them gates.
So you were in Hazleton in 08 when they had their little race riot with the white dudes. The white dudes were fighting each other, right?
Man, it got crazy because, right after that, we got into a race war with the white boys. You know what I'm saying? After they was going at it with each other. They was going through that little power structure. I got there right then when, the old timers, man, Tommy and all them, they were still enforcement. So now you got new generation coming on. We got our way of doing things, so to speak, way of banging, right? So we get there, ultimately, we take control of the environment, of the compound. So that came with a lot of more violence, man, and just them fighting each other, us fighting each other. And then it just got outrageously to where ultimately that was a race war right there. It was just waiting to happen.
We're going to get back there in a second. Let me ask you this, though. Growing up in Jersey, how old are you when you become a blood?
15. I was 15 years old when I became active, man. That's also like a year after that, I caught my first charge. Went to jail, my first 2 shootings, man.
All right, so let's talk about that. 15 years old, you got 2 shootings.
I got 2 shootings. I went and did my state time then. I did 5 years for that. 2 attempted murders, man. Aggravated assaults. One got dropped down to aggravated assault ultimately. So that helped me out, right? If there's any help, considering them conditions, man. I took a 5 with a 5 for that.
I mean, what do these people get shot for? You trying to rob them? I mean, is it a beef?
You know what's crazy, man? It goes back to this, what's considered being real. I call myself being real. I'm 15 years old, man, but that was because of my family. My family member got jumped, my cousin. So when he got jumped the night before at a party, I wasn't even at. You know what I'm saying? He came to the block and told me the next day. So while he telling me, of course, that shit was enraging me. And throughout it enraging me, he don't know my intentions. Like, oh yeah, man, take me down to down Midtown. He don't know that the same block I just told him to take me to, them the dudes who jumped him. I knew that. I said, well, that's where I get my weed from. So I go down there while he taking me, he telling me the story. I'm just listening. And once I pulled up, he seen their face. I just got out the car before he could say anything, man. And, you know, put the work in for him, man.
You see a lot of that, man. A lot of young kids, man, out here shooting each other. It don't matter what color you are, white, black, Hispanic. But you know what, man? We're all people, and we're out here. We're shooting each other. We're robbing each other. I mean, now that you're older, what do you think about that?
Man, I look back and call it senseless, right? The senseless acts in me, thinking I know it all, man, and thinking that that's the way. That's part of the environment. That's part of who I am. Yeah, that's in you. But you don't even think twice. You're just doing what you do, not knowing that you're throwing your whole life away. You ain't even given the chance to live. I was at 15, right? I didn't have a chance to live with me. What if I'd have caught life then? You get what I'm saying? That's 15 years old. And it took me to be inside the penitentiary to see and meet dudes who already threw their life away at an early age like that.
Now, you know, you're in Hazleton. You're doing your time. You don't really have a big bid. You kind of got a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a little bit, right?
But I personally know that you had put some work in at Lee County with the DC dudes. And, you know, you go in there with this mindset. I mean, you're getting out. I mean, you got an out date. But what makes you be like, man, you know what, man, it's all or nothing, because you kind of were living all or nothing, right?
That environment, bro. You know, when you get this, it is what it is. I'm an animal. I'm going to adapt to my environment. At least I thought I was then. That was my way of thinking, right? We're trained to think that. Animals adapt. They don't complain. They don't have a voice to complain. So with that, I was just adapting. That was already in me. What's in you will be brung out. If you got softness in you, that's going to be brung out when you walk through the penitentiary doors and you're placed in that environment, right? It's like a quarterback when they're in the pocket. You either got potential to get out of the pocket and throw the ball, or your ass can get sacked. So with that in my mind, it was like, I got to make it home. So I'm thinking my only way to make it home is killed or be killed, right? I got to kill. I ain't about to be killed in here. And that's why my aggression was what it was. I didn't look at me only having 7 years. I was treating it like I got life, because the people around me, 95% of the population had life. So it's like, you know, their mind frame was that we're going to kill you. We ain't got to live. There's nothing to live for. We're going to die here regardless.
So you're in Hazleton. They got different groups over there. I mean, they had the Ohio AB dude over there, Chance. He was the shot caller for the white dudes, I think, at that time when you were there. And they had that dissension and they were beefing. And my close friend was there at the time from Jamestown. He comes to Big Sandy. They stab him 30-something times over that incident. But you're over there, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, every prison I've been to, man, you know, the DC dudes usually have the numbers, and, you know, or the Mexicans got, you know, a bunch of Serenos on the yard, or there might be a bunch of Paisas. Who do you think actually had the yard, though, when you were at Hazleton?
I want to say it was more DC than anything, because it's West Virginia. West Virginia is close to Washington, D.C., if we talking traveling distance, right? So you had ultimately a lot more of them, as well as you had a lot of Mexicans, though. You had a lot of Mexicans, you had a lot of white boys. And as you know, when the race war kick off, Mexicans and whites sticking together, the ABs and the Mexicans rocking. I caught my first locking the sock in the back of my head, messing with the race wars, man, in Hazleton.
What was the beef over in Hazleton for you guys to start beefing with the white dudes?
Man, I don't even know, bro. It ain't had nothing to do with me. I know that for a fact. This was something that popped off on a whole other unit. I do remember that. But I know we on the unit, and you know when the call come, man, when the deuces get called. If you ain't on point and you don't get alert, or if we get the upper hand, you know we ain't about to tell your car that, hey, man, y'all beefing with us over there. And we got caught in that type of situation. I think a black dude had put his hands on a white boy on an AB, and that was enough to set it off. I'm sitting there just watching TV, man. You know, you rock headphones, one ear on, one ear off. So my back is to my door, but I'm on like an angle watching the TV. So I ain't even realize once the deuces went off in the next unit that it's a race war already going on. It was morning time. I'm not even knowing, watching the news. I ain't about to go to child. As soon as they said child, man, I just see everybody pushing out. white boy locking his sock, put me down. Then it really hit me twice in the same spot. The nurse told me it crushed my skull.
So you said it put you down. Were you able to get up and fight, or?
Indeed, I had to kick up, but it put me to a point where I blacked out. When he hit, boom, I was sitting in the chair, so he caught all this out, and then I pushed the chair behind me because no one is behind me, and jumped up. Out of my blackness, I felt all blood just coming down. But good thing I had enough time to just get right and me and him face to face. We getting it in. I'm fighting bloodied up, man. Can't really even see. I just knew to hold on to him, though, because I'm trying to figure out, did he stab me? So once I realized it was a lock and a sock, I knew he had another swing. He already was in motion to swing again. I had to just get to him. Once I got to him, I just tried to throw him over the railing. You know what I'm saying? That was my easiest way out right there.
How long does this riot go on for?
Man, you talking about at least a good 20, 30 minutes. You know how that go. Because they get to the door, man. We upstairs. I got cuffed downstairs. We fought from upstairs all the way downstairs, man. Everybody just banging out. It's blood everywhere. Bodies laying around. I know when they got to us, they coming, they shooting. Once we finally laid down, man, I passed out. I had lost so much blood and energy. I woke up. I had stitches already. And that's when the nurse told me, if he would have hit you again in that same spot, he'd crush your skull.
Is there a point when you're up there fighting, you're like, yo, now it's real. Now you're fighting for your life. You're in the penitentiary fighting for your life.
Man. When I got hit with that lock, I know it was real. You know what I mean? It's different to get shot at on the street. You know what I'm saying? But when you get hit with a lock in the head, man, you don't see it coming. That's different. That's a different ball game, man. When you feel that pain, it's not a pain of, it just wears off you. You feel it. It go through your whole body, man, and it shuts you down. And if you ain't got no fight in you, the best thing you want to do is just curl up and go lay down somewhere and get that over with, get that dealt with, because that injury gonna kill you. The next day it was terrible for me, man.
So let me just say this: people that I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing with you, right? Because I done seen people get hit with a lock. I used to say I'd rather be stabbed than hit with a lock. That lock is vicious, man.
It's vicious. That when you get hit with a little poker, it go in and out real fast. It won't do too much damage depending on when you get hit at. I done got stabbed in the back in a race war with the Mexicans out in McKean. So I felt the difference. That stab, I can deal with that. But that lock in the sock, nah, hell no.
So you end up leaving Hazleton. Do you leave Hazleton over that incident?
Yeah, we left Hazleton after that. That was it, man. That blew us. That blew us a wrap, man. We blew that joint, man.
People are listening to you talk, right? And we're going to talk about your book, and we'll talk about the things you're doing with Dame Dash and movies and all of that stuff in a minute. But you live with a 7-year sentence. You live that life. You're involved in a lot of things. When you leave Hazleton, what's the next prison that you go to?
Next thing I went to was they put me in a hole. From the hole, I sat in the hole for almost about a year, and they gave me a chance. They sent me to McKean, Pennsylvania. So I gave them a chance. I only had 3 years to go home at 4 years. I've been in Hazleton 3 years at that time. So when I get to the hole, I got about 4 years to go home. They said, I would give you a chance. Sent me to McKean. I got to McKean. I only lasted there for about 4 months, 5 months. That's when I got into another race war with the Mexicans.
So you get in a race war with the Mexicans, and I'm in Raybrook with the dude OG Mac, with the dude that says he was his brother or whatever. Mm-hmm. He was also involved in that, and they said that he had ran. And the dude showed up like, yo, man, I tried to help you, and I got stabbed 11 times, and you ran. I'm trying to see you. And a lot of the New York dudes were like, nah, hold up, man. They're trying to politic. And the Spanish kid was like, nah, man, I'm taking off on this dude. And he took off on him. So tell us a little bit why that race riot starts at McKean. And one of my homeboys was there, a kid that, he's not my homeboy, but a kid that did all the tattoos on my back. That's kind of a friend of mine. He was one of the Mexicans that were there, one of the Serenos that were there. Tell me why that kicks off. Tell the people.
Man, that kicked off because wrong place, wrong time, really. People was at the wrong place. A black dude was getting dealt with from a situation that I was encountered with. And the Mexican was involved because that was his boy. So while he in the room, instead of the Mexican stepping out, he didn't want to step out. You know what I'm saying? He felt disrespected. So I had to put hands on him too because he was in the room. So it just got ugly. From that point on, we knew it was a wrap, man. We're going to have to leave this spot. So we all met up in the big yard. I knew it wasn't going to be no talking, though, once we got up in the big yard. Once we got up there, they tricky. Mexicans smooth, man. We all huddled up over here. They huddled up over there. 30 Mexicans. We about 40, 50 deep. Man, they threw a bunch of rocks at us because they was outnumbered. So we didn't even realize. We see them running at us. When we go to charge at them, rocks. before they grab their knives, they had rocks in their hand, 2, 3 apiece, bust you on your head. That make you stop. You ain't going for your knife. You like, yo, what the? You see what I'm saying? It shocked you. That's how they got the upper hand on us. So I got stabbed in the back. A rock hit me right in the face, right above my eye. So it made me just squint, like, look back. I did like this to see if another one was coming. That was a wrap. By that time I did like that, I caught 2 in the back, man.
When you squinted your eye and you tried to look, were you able to see any more coming with one eye?
Man, I seen a bunch of them come with one eye. My hurt eye opened right up. You ain't hurt no more. You ain't hurt no more.
Yo, you're a funny dude, man. You
hurt no more, my boy. You feel me? You better get right.
You're out there on the battlefield. I mean, are you swinging back? You stabbing back?
Yeah, going at it, man. I had to get my knife, of course, right? After I got hit, I'm like, oh, mine in the sock. We had to hide ours to get up in there. So I ain't never pull it out once I got in the yard. So really, that's my fault, slipping. You know, once you get through the metal detectors, you supposed to automatically bring it out. So once I got active, man, yeah, we was in there getting in for a while, man. You had a lot of people running on us. So they left us for dead, man. Everybody that was dead, though, we got cuffed up, shot up. Once they took us to the back, man, they shipped us out. That was a wrap from there.
What were you in McKean for, in the hole?
I sat in McKean the hole for about 30 days. They got me out of it. They weren't going to play me back there.
I want people to understand that this ain't about glamorizing prison. This is about what really happens when you're involved in, you know, you don't even have to be involved in a gang in federal prison.
Nah, man.
You could just be black, minding your own business, and there's a beef, and someone could walk up and hit you in the back of the head with a lock, and you can lose your life, right?
Exactly, man. Like, you know, a lot of people think they're going to just go in prison or go in the penitentiary and sit down. I'm going to just do my time quietly. You can do that, but it depends on where you at. Some places where I was at, you ain't doing that. You know what I mean? The environment not going to allow you to do that. That ain't what you about to do in here. Go to somewhere else and do that.
Now you get on the bus. You're on your way. What's the next prison? Is it USP Lee?
Yeah, that's when they sent me to USP Lee. Now I come where you at. You was already there when I hit the compound, Chad.
Let me ask you this: when you get to USP Lee, right? I mean, you're on the bus. Are you thinking in your mind like, "Damn, I've been through it in 2 different jails. Man, I'm trying to be easy when I get here." Are you thinking that on the bus at all?
Yeah, because now I left Pennsylvania, right? Pennsylvania, McKean, that's close to home. Mind you, I'm from Jersey. So when they send me, I'm going to Kentucky. You know, that's where USP Lee at. Borderline, right?
Virginia. It's in Virginia.
Virginia line, Kentucky borderline, right?
Yeah, you weren't there that long, but it's right next to Kentucky, man.
Right next to Kentucky? When they told me that made me think I'm far. I said, oh, my God, I'm going to get back home now, man. You know what I'm saying? So I knew I messed up. I knew that.
Now you get to Lee County, and there's an issue going on over there with one of your homeboys, Bandana. If he's watching, I would love to talk to him if he got out. But
man, shout out to Bandana, my boy, man.
Bandana was a crazy dude. I mean, there was a time where he bought a burrito from the Mexicans and almost jumped off. He took the burrito. He was drunk. He slammed it on the ground. It tastes like shit. Right. And then they ended up working that out and getting it fixed before it became a riot. But when you show up, man, already right off the bus, you're not even there that long. But you show up off the bus and there's issues, right? Tell the people what's going on.
I get there, man. It's all types of issues. You got gay dudes acting like they gang banging. That's not allowed. You know what I'm saying? So that ain't shit, right? You just ain't had no type of law and order. You had gay dudes that sit at the table. That wasn't allowed. You know what I'm saying? Just things I wasn't used to in other penitentiaries, mind you. I was already other spots. One thing about it, 2 things for sure, we're going to stick to the rules. I don't care where we at. It is what it is. So when I get there, it don't make no difference where I'm at. I'm going to be me still. And if I have to change an environment, I'm going to change it before I let the environment change me. So that was my motto walking into there already. Like, USP Lee, I come from Hazleton, the worst there is. This shit got to be college to me. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I looked at it. When I came there, you see everything is outdoor, Chad. You know what I mean? So it's like, nah, I'm used to moving in corridors where you got to move smooth and slick before you get stabbed up.
When you get there, I mean, you're talking about the gay stuff. Was that some other dudes that were claiming to be Bloods?
Yeah, man. It was the dude on the compound, man. He was claiming he was banging, but yet he running around dealing with boys from D.C. So that just made it even worse. But one day, you know, it got to a heated argument. And back to the homie Bandana, of course, he out there. You remember, he threw the dice over the fence. He just, you know, like, and it got to that point, man. We was coming already. Little things like that was building. So I took that. And just the next day, I just like, man, I need to get and wash him up there. He ain't even really with us. And that just set it off. That let us, man, DC, Bloods. That was one of the biggest gang wars that USP Lee seen to this day. Like that messed that compound up, man.
What do you do? I mean, do you cut the kid with a razor? What do you do?
Nah, I hit him up twice. I only stabbed him twice. You know what I'm saying? I only stabbed him like twice. I could have crushed him more than that though. But I knew up top, he ain't got to really crush him. He ain't even really on that. You know what I'm saying? I wanted the good fight, but you know how that go. Ain't no fighting, man. So I had to stab him, man. It wasn't no fighting.
You stabbed the DC kid, and that sets everything off.
That stepped it all off, man. That set it all off. We right there in the yard, man. Ain't wasn't no turning back from there. It's a wrap. Ain't like you on a unit where you can go in the room.
So you're out there on the yard, you stabbed the kid. That's what pretty much sets the thing off. So now it's DC versus Blood. I remember watching this shit out the window, man.
Real talk, bro. It was hell. You remember watching that? It was war out there, man. It was war. That said it all. You had everybody running for cover. If you wasn't DC or you wasn't Blood, you was trying to get out the way. You know what I'm saying? Because that right there it went off so fast. Everybody got knives out. It's like everybody was prepared. That's how it looked and seemed. Because when it went off, DC, as you know, they ain't no cowards. They not just backing down. So you got them dudes that's really standing on that. They was ready. We was ready. So it just got real bloody and ugly, man. Everybody getting rocking and fighting and tore down, man.
I think Bandana ended up getting hit in the face with a lock.
Yeah, we got his face, man. I mean, when he came to the back, I saw him when he walked past me. He had a little scar on his face, man. If you was out there, you was getting bloody. It wasn't nowhere around that. You know what I'm saying? You was getting bloody. You was getting active, man. If you wasn't, that means you ran. That's how we know if you ran or not. When we in the back, watching you when you come through.
Now, I mean, you had that little issue at Lee County. You go to the hole. Where do you end up next?
Oh, man, from there, I was out of there, man. They told me, we got somewhere for you. That's where they sent me to Victorville, gang unit, USP, West Coast.
You're coming in with a 7-year sentence, man. You already been in 3 major incidents at 3 different prisons. Sometimes when you're young, you're wild, and I remember you. Yeah. You know, I remember you setting, some stuff off, but now you get to Victorville, you're on the West Coast. How real is that?
Man, bro, that's different. Let me say that, Chad. It's different. You know what I'm saying? It's different, bro. It's different. It's active. You want activity, you got it. You got it.
How were the West Coast Bloods with the East Coast Bloods? Were they receptive or no?
Nah, not off top. One thing about Cali homies that I respect about them, you're going to show them who you are. You ain't going to tell them who you are. That's the difference. You ain't going to do too much talking over there. So one of them going to approach you to make you show. Just so happened, my incident, I come into that situation. I come out there, man. My set was labeled against all odds. You get what I'm saying? I got the set on my neck, so I couldn't hide it. So now I come into this activity, and people want to question. They want answers. So I had to answer to that. I had to come to the yard. Blood and Crip was out there. I had to answer. Big meeting took place with me right there in the middle of it. All shot callers. That's how I was able to meet Doc Shakur, Tupac father. After I passed that test, you get what I'm saying? That allowed me to stay there on the compound. I had to put some work in. They pointed out who started the lie, who started the rumor, all that right there on Front Street. So I had all big homies watching me from Blood and Crip on the yard. We over about 700 deep. Over there, they got the compound. Blood and Crip got the yard right there, point blank period. Them and Mexicans. You know what I'm saying?
So you put in some work over there, and now you're able to stay.
Over there is more controlled by the inmates, so me putting in work ain't even lead me to go nowhere. I just went to the hole for like 2-3 days. KD and them got me right out. No pressure. You know what I'm saying? I just got to go sit down so SIS can come do their little talk to me, interrogation, see what's up, make sure I'm good. But I got the stamp right there. And KD and them like, man, nah, he Gucci. He Gucci, man. He ain't doing nothing, man.
Now, I know you've been home a while. How long you been home?
I've been home almost 8 years now.
8 years. What are you doing in your life, man?
I'm doing a lot, man. Turning my life around by helping others, first and foremost, through my life experiences, through my story, through Level 7, I wrote a book. I have a book out. You can go get that. Pre-sale. Orders is out now. Please order y'all Level 7 book through chat. Please do that, man, through right here on Blood on the Razor Wire. In talks with a film. I have starred in a lot of films myself. I have helped produce a lot of content. So just getting into that film world, that allowed me not to look backwards, and not be taken backwards by no negativity.
Oh, you sent me the trailer for that Dame Dash. I wonder if I could use it in the video, but
indeed, you should. You should, man. Tubi, everybody else use it. Yes, indeed. Please use it.
I'm definitely going to use it. How does that happen? How's the whole Dame Dash connection happen?
My brother, my oldest brother, Jay Black, man. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother in my heart, man. He just got tired of me keep repeating the same steps in life in the streets. He seen I was a solid one. He know that from his heart. So he like, you got a story, man. You is a story in yourself, your experiences. And it's crazy because to shock the world, I got brought to Dame while I was on the run. Once I come home from the federal, I'm on parole, but again, I bucked the system first. You know what I'm saying? So when I bucked the system, my brother got sick of that. So he was like, man, we got to do something about this, man. You should turn your life into a story, to a film. He brought me right to Dame. Dame didn't even know that, what I was about. He just accepted what my brother was saying, embraced me. Once he embraced me from that first day, man, that turned into a year-long relationship.
What's he like as a person, man?
Everything that he is on TV, he is in person. And that's real. Dame he's solid. He's Dame. You know, he's a stand-up dude. He's going to speak for himself. He's going to speak his mind, of course. And he's big on independence. You know what I'm saying? So with that all in one, embodied in one person, you can imagine the energy.
Seeing pictures with Fat Joe and videos and all that. What's he like?
Solid dude as well, man. Gave me a lot of love and told me keep doing my thing. You know, he understand where I'm going with level 7, what I'm trying to make happen with level 7. So a lot of the celebrities in life that I have encountered and built my own rapport with and relationships with since I've been home, you know, they have helped me along the way in any form or fashion that they can if I ask them to.
Tell me what level 7 is. People want to know.
Level 7, man, that's, you know, as you know, it's life. It's levels to life, right? So it's levels to life in your mentality. Being in all of them pins, man, I've been to the highest levels of every pin, as you know, right, Chad? Like, ain't no highest level than what we was at. So I understand that in life, it's levels to life. And when you change your mentality and how you look at things, that allows us to change our perspective, change our surroundings, change our environments, and ultimately you'll change yourself and you'll have a better life. So I thought of level 7 as just being the highest form of thinking, right? Because it's a God in each and every one of us. So if you just rely on your faith and believe strongly in who you is, you can think your way through a lot of things. Just like we thought our way through the negative situations behind the wall, you can think your way through things, man, and just think on a higher level, and you'll change your outcome.
You know, you've been through it. Gang violence, prison, some of the most dangerous prisons you can be in the country. What message would you have to a young man, a young black man, right? Young, it don't even have to be a young black, just a young white kid, young Hispanic kid growing up in Jersey, young black kid growing up in Jersey, caught up in gangs and gang violence. What would you tell them, man?
Man, straight up, I would look them in the face and tell them find something to do, but don't do this. It's a better way. You get what I'm saying? And that's just G shit. And you can find out the hard way and be hard-headed, but I don't think people on the streets, these young dudes, know where they're going. They don't know yet, right, Chad? They don't know they're going to face USP Lee. They don't know what Hazleton look like. They don't know they're getting their ass up in Victorville. They don't know this yet, right? In Hazleton, as soon as you get off the bus and get in the system, they don't know that. So I would tell them, man, don't think what you're doing out here ain't going to have its pros and cons to it. But if you can avoid it, that shit ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you a bigger question that people want to know, right? And we'll talk a little bit about this before we go, but Casanova, right? The rapper, he's an ape under Dick Wolf and all that. He allegedly, I mean, he doesn't allegedly, he writes a letter to the judge, says, yo, I'm not blood no more. I changed my life. He's going to the feds, right? And my perception is, I've seen dudes come in there and say, nah, man, I'm not on blood time, or I'm not on Crip time. I'm not on gang time. I'm on New York time. And dudes kind of get a pass. What do you think would happen with Casanova? He goes to, let's say, USP Hazleton. He said he dropped his flag. Maybe he just told the judge that. Or maybe he got permission from Dick Wolf to do that. But from your perspective, what happens to someone like Casanova that he just got sentenced to 15 years, walks into the federal penitentiary? What happens with him?
On my watch, you're getting your ass washed up. You're getting your ass washed up, and that's just being real, right? If that's what we on, that's what we on. Ain't no turning back from that. Like, it's a better way to do things. It ain't what you do, it's how you do it. So to do it in them circumstances, that's why he got dealt with how he got dealt with, right? It ain't no secret, right? And that's what happens. That's what come with that. Everybody, you can't just play tough. Act like you just do what you want to do with this shit. That ain't what you signed up for.
Listen, I mean, and Dick Wolf's a pretty serious dude, you know what I mean? And Casanova, I think he was over there in a jail in Jersey when they just hit him in the face. They cut him in the face. But some other dudes.
Jersey a different animal, man. Like, for all those out there that don't know, man, Jersey different. Don't get fooled, man. But Jersey really holds you to what you talk about, what you say. And that's why a lot of them rappers come through Jersey and they get their asses in a lot of situations, man. That's sticky and hard to get out.
Well, listen, check this out, right? I want you to tell people, is the book out yet?
Yes, exactly. It's out, man. You can order, you get your pre-orders through us, through me, through Chad. It's out. That's one of the reasons why I didn't upload it yet to Amazon or to any major sites, because I'm still at the table discussing numbers, discussing logistics, just to get commitment with the film and how we want to go about it. Ultimately, I will have it on Amazon, but I'm in no rush, right? Because this is going to be a 7-part book, mind you, because it's going to be a TV series. When you think TV series, you think of Oz. I don't know if y'all remember that movie Oz, that TV series. Tom Fontana, that's the director of that. That's who made Oz. I had a fine chance to speak to him briefly. He gave me his blessings. He let me know why he didn't continue on with Oz because of the death of the Black actor. But I let him know I wanted to bring Level 7 to a more modern day look. What does that look like now? Showing USP Lee, showing Hazleton, interacting, right? If we got a Chad that's looking like an AB because he really experienced what AB is, he embodies that, right? Things like that. You get what I'm saying? If we have that, what does that look like on film?
Oh, man, I don't know. I got my back all tattooed. I don't think I can go on there and play no AB, though, bro.
Yes, you can, man. You got to. You got to play the head one, too. And you play the head one.
Put me as the jailhouse lawyer, homie. I'm just messing with you. So anyway, look, I'm going to make sure I put up whatever links I can for you for your book. Tell people to go check it out. Honestly, bro, I want you to get all the profit from. I don't want nothing out of it, man. I'm just going to promote it. That's what I do, man. I promote for other people too and try to help, people that are out here doing the right thing. Obviously, you've been out here for 7-8 years. You're doing the right thing. I know you were a wild dude, but we're all wild when we're younger. And I think that the message today is like what you said, man. Do something, but don't do this, because these are the consequences that come with that stuff. You could have ended up with a life sentence when you only had 7 years, right?
Indeed, easy. My whole life would have been snatched away from me. Not only that, just with 7 years when I got behind the wall. You got to think of how many people catch bodies behind the wall, right? You know what I'm saying, Chad? That throw away your whole life right there. You come in with a date and you leave with a goddamn alphabet letter. Life.
Doubt, I've seen it plenty of times. So before we get ready to go, is there anything you want to say?
Indeed, man. Shout out to you. Thank you for having me, man. Be on the lookout. I want everybody to go order that book. Some of the proceeds of y'all purchases will be donated to stopping domestic violence globally against women. That's something that I'm heavy on. I'm against that, man. So let's please be on the lookout for stopping domestic violence against women and do all that we can. And every book that you purchase will be donated to that. Every book, you also get a free Level 7 t-shirt. Whatever color you want, however color you want it, we're going to give it to you just like that. It's Level 7, man.
What's up, man? I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to tell people if you like what we're doing, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. With respect, until tomorrow, we're out.